a stadium in Germany.
This game might get suspended.
90 minutes, no breaks, no prompts, pure noise.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Kiss Cam, sponsored timeout. $20 beer. Jumbotron telling you to clap. Military presence outside the stadium. Flares inside it. Chants that haven't stopped since 1989. Halftime show.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Apple Music Super Bowl 59 halftime show.
Cheerleaders, corporate suite, phone screens. A 70-year-old man who has stood in the same section for 50 years. Same songs, same scarf, same fire. These are not the same thing. One side built an entertainment product, the other built a religion.
If I can guess how war is, I would compare it to derby, being on the court.
It's a crazy experience. I'll tell you that it's different.
And the gap between them is bigger than most people want to admit. In 2024, a video went viral showing 24,000 Borussia Dortmund fans standing shoulder to shoulder in the yellow wall, singing in perfect unison for 90 straight minutes in a Champions League semifinal. No prompts on the Jumbotron, no cheerleaders, no DJ asking them to make noise. Just 24,000 people who had been coming to that same end of that same stadium for decades, doing what they always do.
Don't fall in love with this club. After the biggest disappointments, you'll be staying. When all odds are against you, you'll still be dreaming. You will lose your heart to strangers and crazy people. You will be dragged into the drama, get pulled up on cloud 9, and get your heart broken. A place where everything's raw, loud, mad, gritty, built on heart, not on hype. It will make you lose your mind. It will make you believe when others doubt. It will make you go all in, all out. So better choose wisely. Because yes, this club is for everyone, but not for anyone.
That video made the rounds on American social media, and the reaction was almost always the same. Clips of NFL crowds sitting in silence. NBA fans staring at their phones during live play. Baseball stadiums half empty by the 7th inning. And everyone asking the same question: why don't American fans look like that? The answer is more complicated than most people want to admit. And it has nothing to do with passion. It has everything to do with how these two worlds were built. Because when you look closely at what separates American sports culture from European sports culture, what you're really looking at is a fundamental difference in what sports are supposed to be. In America, sports is a product. In Europe, for a lot of people, sports is an identity. And those two things produce very different kinds of fans. To understand how American sports fandom became what it is today, you have to go back to the league structures themselves. The NFL, the NBA, the MLB. These leagues were built from the ground up as entertainment businesses. Franchises are privately owned, centrally licensed, and operated with one core objective: maximize revenue. And that model shaped everything downstream. The stadiums, the broadcasts, the in-game experience, all of it was engineered to keep casual fans engaged and spending money. Because casual fans outnumber diehards by a wide margin, and casual fans need to be entertained every single second. So the NFL installed Jumbotrons that tell you when to cheer. The NBA piped in music between every single dead ball. MLB stadiums rolled out mascots and promotions and theme nights to fill seats that the game itself wasn't always filling. The product got polished, the production got spectacular. The Super Bowl became arguably the most produced single sporting event on the planet, with halftime shows that cost more than most countries spend on national arts funding. And look, nobody does spectacle like America. Nobody. But here's the thing about spectacle. When the entertainment infrastructure becomes too good, the crowd stops being part of the atmosphere and starts being part of the audience. And there's a difference. A crowd creates something. An audience watches something. What happened in American sports is that over decades, the fans were slowly converted from participants into consumers. Season ticket holders at NFL games now sit in climate-controlled suites, watching replays on handheld screens while someone brings them food. And that's not a criticism. It's a business model that works. But it does not produce the kind of supporter culture you see in Germany or Serbia, or across the English football pyramid. The franchise system made things worse, in a cultural sense. Because in America, there's no real threat of failure. The worst team in the NFL gets the best draft pick next year. Nobody gets relegated. Nobody loses their place in the league. The Cleveland Browns went decades of near-total dysfunction and still held their spot. Still sold out games, still operated like a legitimate franchise. There's a safety net built into the structure that removes one of the most powerful emotional drivers in European sports. The genuine fear that your club might not exist at this level next year. In England, Portsmouth FC won the FA Cup in 2008. By 2012, they had dropped down 2 divisions and nearly ceased to exist entirely. Fans were fundraising just to keep the stadium operational. That kind of thing leaves a mark. It creates the kind of ferocious emotional investment in a club that no marketing campaign can manufacture. American sports will never produce that experience because American sports was never designed to produce it. It was designed to produce a reliable, enjoyable entertainment product. And in those terms, it absolutely delivers. But while American sports was building its entertainment empire, something very different was happening in Germany. The Bundesliga has the highest average attendance of any football league in the world. Not the Premier League, not La Liga. Germany. A country where it rains sideways for half the year, standing section tickets can cost less than 10 euros, and the most popular clubs are still partially governed by the supporters themselves under the 50+1 ownership rule, which prevents any single private investor from taking a controlling stake. That rule changed everything about the culture. Because when fans have structural ownership in the club stops being something they follow and starts being something they belong to. German supporter groups, the Ultras, don't just cheer. They organize, they plan. They spend 40 hours a week constructing tifo displays that turn entire stadium sections into living artwork. They choreograph chants that thousands of people know word for word. They police their own sections, set the tempo, and create atmospheres that visiting fans remember for the rest of their lives. Borussia Dortmund's Yellow Wall holds 24,000 standing supporters. It's the largest single terrace in European football. And on match day, it operates like nothing else in sport. There's no instruction, there's no prompt. That section has been building its own culture for decades, passing songs and traditions from one generation to the next, and the result is an atmosphere so intense that opposing teams have spoken about it in press conferences like it's an actual tactical problem they have to prepare for. Because it is. Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund, Der Klassiker, is one of the most heavily policed sporting events in Europe, not because of any external threat, but because the supporter rivalry is that genuine, that deep, and that old. These two clubs have been fighting for dominance in German football for generations. The players change every few years. The hatred is permanent. That's what American sports has never been able to buy, not for lack of trying. And then there's Serbia. Serbia is a country of roughly 7 million people that has somehow produced an absurd concentration of elite basketball talent. Nikola Jokic, Vlada Divac, Peja Stojakovic, Predrag Danilovic. And the reason is not some genetic accident. It's because in Serbia, basketball is not a hobby. It is woven into national identity in a way that Americans apply to the concept of freedom. When Serbia plays in Eurobasket or the Olympics, the entire country stops. When Jokic is on the floor for the Nuggets, millions of people in Belgrade are awake at 3 in the morning watching on their phones. But the real window into Serbian sports culture is Crvena Zvezda versus Partizan Belgrade. Red Star against Partizan, the eternal derby.
If I can guess how war is, I would compare it to derby, being on the court.
It's a crazy experience. I'll tell you that. It's different.
Insanity. Insanity is the word that best describes the derby.
If you've never seen footage of this match, find it. Watch it once.
So many words describe Serbia.
Because nothing in American sports, not a Cowboys and Giants rivalry game, not a Yankees and Red Sox playoff series, not a Lakers and Celtics finals matchup, prepares you for what you're about to see. This is not sports as entertainment. This is sports as a proxy for something much older and much deeper. The rivalry between Red Star and Partizan runs through class divisions, political history, neighborhood identity, and a level of collective pride that has no real equivalent in the American sports landscape. Entire sections of the stadium are lit with flares. Thousands of supporters chant in perfect synchronization for 90 minutes straight. The security presence at a regular season derby rivals what you'd see at a political summit. And it's not manufactured. Nobody designed this atmosphere. Nobody hired a consultant to make the crowd louder.
It's nothing like you ever seen before.
This is just different. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
It's hard to describe sometimes.
Playing in front of all those fans, like the passion is just like contagious. It's gonna be entertaining, it's gonna be hostile, it's gonna be dangerous.
It's one city, two teams.
This culture built itself over generations, through wins and losses and history that goes far beyond the final score. That's the thing that's almost impossible to replicate if you start from scratch. American sports owners have tried. They've brought in supporter culture consultants. They've built standing sections in MLS stadiums. They've watched the videos and thought, we want that. And in isolated pockets, particularly in MLS, you can see something authentic beginning to form. Atlanta United's supporter sections, Portland Timbers Army, Seattle Sounders. The atmosphere at some of those matches is legitimately impressive. If you're finding this analysis useful, go ahead and subscribe to Primetime Sports. We break down the stories and the systems behind the biggest moments in sport, and there's a lot more coming. But here's the honest reality. What you see in Germany and Serbia and the English football pyramid took generations to build. And it was built through structures, ownership models, promotion and relegation, community ties, that American sports leagues have never had and were never designed to have. The irony is that both systems have started quietly borrowing from each other while publicly refusing to admit it. American leagues look at European atmospheres and implement standing sections, ban pauses in crowd noise, and try to cultivate die-hard supporter communities. European clubs look at American revenue models and sell naming rights to their stadiums, recruit American private equity investors, and build merchandise operations that look borrowed directly from the NFL playbook. The Premier League is now partially funded by American ownership groups. Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund bought Newcastle United. Red Bull has clubs across multiple continents built on the American entertainment franchise model, complete with consistent branding and commercial logic. Neither side is as pure as their fans want to believe. But the gap in fan culture is real, and it is wide, and it comes down to this. What are fans protecting? In Europe, particularly in football and basketball in the Balkans, fans feel like guardians of something that belongs to them. A club, a neighborhood, a tradition, an identity. That creates the kind of investment you cannot fake. When your club goes down a division, it's not a disappointing sports result. It's a community setback. When your club wins a championship, the streets fill not because someone organized a parade, but because something that defines you just proved itself to the world. In America, fans have a relationship with a franchise. A franchise is a business. Businesses move. Players change teams every 2 years. The league expands into new cities, and the original cities forget they ever had a team there. The connection is real, but it's fragile in ways that European supporters rarely experience because the foundation underneath it is commercial, not historical. The American fan is not soft. That framing misses the point entirely. American fans are incredibly knowledgeable, deeply committed, and in many ways among the most statistically literate sports fans on the planet. The culture around the NFL draft alone represents a level of engagement most European leagues couldn't dream of generating around their transfer windows. But the atmosphere is different. The sound is different. The stakes feel different. Because in a closed league with no relegation and guaranteed television money, the worst-case scenario for a fan is a bad season followed by a good draft pick. In Europe, the worst-case scenario is your club dropping out of professional football entirely and never coming back. Portsmouth fans know that. Bury FC fans, whose club was expelled from the Football League in 2019, know that even more painfully. That threat, the genuine possibility of loss, is what makes European supporters hold on the way they do. So when you watch that yellow wall video again, and you wonder why American crowds don't look like that, this is your answer. It's not about passion. Americans are passionate. It's about permanence. The yellow wall exists because Borussia Dortmund has existed in Dortmund for over a century. Through wars and economic collapse and near bankruptcy in the early 2000s, the fans stayed because the club is theirs in a way that goes beyond a ticket purchase or a television subscription. They stayed because leaving wasn't an option they were culturally willing to consider. That kind of bond takes generations to build. It can't be installed with a standing section and a new playlist. And the honest conclusion is this: American sports does certain things better than anywhere else in the world. The production, the broadcasting, the star-making machinery, the national spectacle. Nobody touches it. The Super Bowl remains the most watched single sporting event in American history every single year. The NBA has turned basketball into a genuinely global cultural force in a way European basketball has never managed. But European sports, at its best, in its most authentic forms, in the stadiums where the culture is decades old and the supporters have been coming since before their parents were born, does the one thing no production budget can replicate. It makes the game mean something that goes beyond the game, and that gap, right there, is the difference between a fan and a supporter. If you enjoyed this breakdown, stick with Primetime Sports, subscribe, and check out some of our other content right here. And let us know in the comments what our next video should be about.